Hey guys, and welcome to ZPR, Zanu Project Rethink. Hey, we are in the studio today with two very wonderful people. Well, one of them you've seen in the other videos, Armani, Tomlinson, a wonderful media consultant. You need to see her work. Unbelievable. And she's in the studio with me. And then a new guest I just met, my friend Zeru Whittington from the University of Bridgeport, a mechanical engineering student and also a graphic artist. And they're in the studio to discuss this topic that I believe is the most favorite of all my topics. I've been doing it for the last 15 years, and today I'm going to drop it on them so they don't even know the topic, they don't know the subject yet. So please, and as I always say, subscribe, follow us, like us, love us, and leave your comments. Thank you. Hey, Armani, welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
And Zeru, good to see you. All right, so here is it. You're going to listen to the narration, okay? And then I'm going to ask you guys to react. All right, so in 1991, there was a conference in France, right? And then the people who attended, at the end of the conference, the host, a Frenchman, decided to take 5 people to his house for dinner. And after dinner, he said, hey guys, I've been doing this for the last 10 years, and I want to do it with you guys also. And he said, all right, I want each one of you to tell me what makes you proud. If you are from Europe, or you are English, you're from America, or you're from Asia, or whatever. What is it that makes you really proud that your ancestors left behind? That anywhere you go in the world, every corner of the world, you will see it. People have to rely on it every day. Either it's automobile, appliances, electronics, medical, you name it. And say it without blaming anybody. What is it? And so, of course, the American kid was the first to say, well, listen, I'm a 23-year-old American kid. I didn't even finish high school. But you see, everywhere I go in this world with this blue passport, referring to the American passport, I'm treated like a rock star because my ancestors built a country to represent or be the beacon of freedom and equality, and they mean it. America is the only country where its soldiers have gone out to die for other people. Everybody who wants to be cool have to wear the New York Yankee baseball cap. Every kid in Southeast Asia or Africa have to be in a Levi jeans to be cool. Everybody thinks of America as the place to go if you want to just blow up. So for me, when I go out, people look at me not as me, but as America. And that makes me proud to be an American. The English boy said, well, what can I say? I'm an English boy. Today, over 50 countries in the world can speak a language, wear a suit, because of my country. We are given the manifest destiny to civilize others. And the Queen was the most revered human being by these countries who are still very grateful that Britain is the reason they have electricity and they have this and they have that and they have that. And it went on and on. So what can I say? My name is William. I'm Anglican and I speak English. The Japanese said, well, I'm from Japan. There are 196 countries on earth. And in each of them, every 5 cars, 3 are Japanese. Every hospital in the world, the equipment that has saved lives were built in Japan. Appliances in the kitchen. On and on and on. It's the most beautiful, well-organized, hard-working culture in Asia. We're not just Asians. We are very one of a kind. And that, when I travel as a Japanese, the way people treat me is because of what my ancestors have built in this world. It's what they are robbing off me. Now, if you are, since you are black, and you are the last person in the room, what would you say about your ancestors that in today's world, from 6 a.m. to 12 midnight, this is what your ancestors left behind, that everybody have to rely on it just to make the day go by? What is it about your ancestors that makes you proud to be black?
I mean, you still have
I'm
to
not
know
putting
where
you on the spot. I'm just
No, you're good. No, you still
understand,
have,
right?
Yeah, but you still have to know where you come from. because as you
No,
said,
you just have to look at Africa, and if there is something there that people are really talking about,
right.
you are part of it.
Well,
Just point to Africa and say, well, look at my continent where they took me from, or they took my great-grandparents. Look at what my ancestors there have done. Boom. So, you two are not the first to face this question.
Right.
I've done this for more than 15 years. I've done it with scholars in Kenya. I've done it with scholars in Tanzania.
Wow.
I've done it in many places. I've done it in different cities in the United States. And it's the same reaction. And I'm serious. This is not a topic to route up any controversy. I'm black. If people get to know me, I'm blacker than people who think they are black.
Right.
Because I'm connected to my history. So now, you are Gen Zs. Think, please. How do you feel hearing me that not just you, not you, that even your brothers and sisters who came before you, just about 10 years older or 20 years older than you, that you walk this earth, and when this question comes up anywhere, you're not able to stand up in a room and speak like they did. Do you see where the anger comes from?
Yeah. It's frustrating.
yeah, I can say the same. I feel like it's frustrating, and this goes back to why I did ancestry type of looked into that lane, because when even in school, when we go around, you introduce yourself, where you're from, all this other type of stuff, and when it gets around to you, you don't have an answer. You're like, well, I'm Zeru and I'm black. Well, what does that even mean? So to not have a really concrete explanation and concrete sort of proudness in being black in America it is frustrating. I agree it's frustrating.
And it's not just African Americans. Don't get me wrong. I did it. I started first with Africans when I was touring East Africa from 2015 to 2020. Tanzania, Uganda, Burundi, Rwanda, and Kenya. And I did it from school to school, universities, and there'll be scholars in the room, and they are never able to point to anything. Now let me explain something to you. And the older people, your parents feel, they know this, that they won't. So when this happens to any culture, you know what they do? They then feed their children with negatives about other people to explain why I don't have anything to point to, because somebody stopped us from doing it. So the African American, the African, we are lucky on the continent of Africa. We are lucky for only one thing. And if any Africans are watching the show, they will tell you it's true. We never have our parents or the elders ever feed us with any negative thing about foreigners. Never. Now, those in South Africa will say it's not the case because of apartheid. But in West Africa, no. We have only three ways. We either make fun of foreigners, we like them, or we just simply praise them. That's why you do not read in the news every day that a white man was touring and he was hurt in the streets because of, what do you call it, race hate. Never. Never. So when African Americans see the Africans in America, our relationship with white people, they're surprised to say, what, you're kissing their boots? No, it's not so. It's not so. Not at all. So this came to me because I was that black man in the room that day, 1991. And I know you can't wait to hear what did I say.
What
But that
did you
answer,
say?
no, that answer is going to come in my next episode. Let me speak to why and how you should think about it. Wouldn't you question yourself? Now, I tell you, Korean kids are told by their parents, that Korean families, Korean men and Korean women are the best in the world. And the Korean food is the best. They tell their children to the point they believe it. So Koreans, they are very proud people, let me tell you. Positively, very, very proud. You're not going to put a Korean down. When I moved to Japan, they're Buddhist. So they have a culture. You can see it from within, how they speak. A Japanese never, ever puts blame on anybody to the people. Never do. Because what you're doing is you're weakening the kids So they never do. And so somehow, naturally, the Japanese, they are very subdued. They don't boast and all that. They don't even say it out. But you can see it. Their humility becomes some of their power. Mm. The English, they have what they tell their children. The manifest destiny. God chose the Englishman to civilize others. You think their children are depressed by that? No. What did the Jews say when they couldn't explain to their kids why they are the ones who are being persecuted time and again? They told their kids, no, don't worry. It's because we are the chosen one.
So you're saying pretty much that when we as a people put blame on other cultures to excuse why we haven't made and shake the world.
No, we think we haven't made or shake the world. We don't know it. That's why you've not been told. What have you been told when you were bringing up as a black girl? What do you know in your culture as this is what? Every American, have you heard their national anthem? What is the slogan of America? The home of the brave and what?
The land of the free.
That's correct. What is your national anthem? What is the slogan of the black countries in Nigeria?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
That's correct.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Ask any Nigerian next time you meet them. When they were growing up, what is it they hear?
Well, I know in Jamaica they say out of many people, one.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Anybody says that, out of many people, one. What does that mean?
Yeah.
How a kid is going to walk around out of many people, one. Look at you growing up in America, and your national anthem ends with the home of the brave and the land of the free.
I definitely always question, being a part of American culture, and definitely I think during high school and getting more in touch with the resources that that point to African history and what actually happened, and not in the American history books.
Like
and
what?
Like like how American history books start with slavery, and that's not really.
No, it doesn't. American history book doesn't start with slavery.
Well, I mean it
starts with how they came here,
right?
Found this land and decided this is where we are going to settle,
right?
And then it goes on to how they settled. And how the Indians suffered in their hands.
Right.
And how Colombia came through here.
Right.
They write all that in the American history book. Mm-hmm. Nobody is forcing you not to write your book. You think the Jews who live in America rely on Americans to write their history? Even though they live here, they write their story while they are here for their children to read. So why are you saying the American history book doesn't have anything about us? Why are they?
No, it has stuff about us.
So
I just feel like none of our highlights are highlighted.
Like what? What do you know and it's not highlighted?
I say specifically something that a lot of people don't know is about the Moors' time in Spain.
What?
The Moors, their time in Spain.
Well, the Moors in their time in Spain.
The Moors, they were. I'm not an expert on this topic, so I don't want to, act like I'm an expert. But you could definitely look up this information for yourself. And they were basically, a group of black men, and they settled in Europe or in Spain a long time before whites had gotten there, and it's something that I really didn't learn until high school.
So what would you go around today in the world, every corner of the world that you see that will remind you of the Moors?
There is like I said, is that information is not.
Yeah, so what does the settling of the Moors in Spain? What does it do for the world?
That's a good question. I don't really know. I'd have to.
About,
yeah, no. It's a good question.
Didn't say, have you read about Japanese settled in Manchuria? They told you what physically inventions, innovations, creations,
right,
businesses that are Japanese. That's what he mentioned.
Right.
So that's what I'm asking the black people to mention, not to tell me Moors. What country are the Moors? Whenever you hear the word, when black people are talking, they say, well, black people did this. Well, there's nothing. Black people, dark-skinned people or black people? Are you talking about Africa? If so, what country, what tribe are you talking about? Right. So the Moors, what country? And how did they get to Spain? By the way, Africa never built a steamship or a sail system, canoes with a distance all the way from Africa, Nigeria to Spain. So that's a bogus history. Unless you say the Yorubas of Nigeria traveled and got to Spain. Then you're being specific, but not black people.
Well, yeah, I'd have to look deeper into.
No, I know the history of the Moors people. They're not from Africa.
Right.
because we didn't have any means of sailing to Europe. No, we didn't. But what I'm discussing today is this. How do you think children will feel? They grow with nothing, no slogan, internal motivation. The parents will be busy teaching you that. But because they didn't have anything to teach you, what they did was, they are thinking that you're not stupid. You are questioning, what is it black have done? So instead for you not to think about them as being not bright, they quickly told you a negative story about other people prevented us from.
And we believed it.
Of course. So you have a responsibility, Gen Z. You got to create one. Not what your ancestors, but you're going to hear the answer I gave in the room. It changed everybody. Everybody bowed their head. What it means to be black. What I was proud of my ancestors that they gave to this world. Yes. This is why I feel free to speak about the white and black relationship. Nothing has happened to black people that has not happened to any other race. Nothing.
I agree with that.
Colonization? Come on now. New Zealand, Australia. The United States was brutally colonized. India, everywhere. Slavery? Everybody has tasted it. So why are we so angry as if something happened to us uniquely that nobody else? What is it? Only one thing. One thing. At the end of slavery, blacks happened to be the only slaves or ex-slaves or product of slaves who lived with the former slave owners' children but have different skin color.
Yeah.
This is the curse of America. In Britain, the whites or Northern Europe, the others who were brought by the Slavs and the gangs, when it was over, because we're white, it just blended.
Right.
Okay. In Africa, my mother's tribe was sold away because they didn't pay land poll to the king. And the women have to remain there and work for them until the money is, okay? But when it was over, because the French arrived and the bully went away, we cannot tell today because the skin, we just blended. America was unfortunate that when it was over, the people that were brought to America happened to have a different skin color. So every day when you wake up, because of this difference, you think it happened to only you. And that is where the anger.
Yeah.
If our forefathers, meaning those who came here, if they had decided to cut everything and say, we are Americans, I was brought here by circumstances, so we are Americans, they would have been part of the slogan created for America. And the black, maybe in that room that day, as a black American, so you wouldn't speak for Africa, but yet you wouldn't speak for America.
Right, so I feel like that's the that's the confusion. Yeah, right. Because I feel like I speak for myself, and I don't. Where do I draw the line of, am I over there or over there?
Exactly, this is where the confusion is. So if you had said in the room, oh, guess what? The same thing the white boy said, if you say it, oh Lord, if Umar Johnson heard you, oh, he will cut you off. He will call you names. If Don Lemon heard you, Joy Reid, what are you talking, brother? But guess what? If you step outside right now, and I'm telling you this as an experience, into Nigeria or any African country, boy, you wouldn't want to come home. You know why? They will love you. You know why they're loving you? Not because you're black.
Because we're foreign.
Because you have the American passport. But if you were from a neighboring black country, oh, good luck. Wow. So yes, the country that we sit down here and demonize, all these so-called black celebrities, LeBron James and all that, when he goes to China, it is not because he plays basketball. It's because, one, he plays basketball, and he's an American.
Yeah. And I see the same thing even in Jamaica. When you have an American passport, you're like a god. And there's a saying in Jamaica, like, America is their favorite foreign country, so much so that if you're a foreigner and they say, you come from foreign, they're asking, are you from America?
Yeah, so the word foreign has become America. It's so also. Now, Britain colonized Ghana and Nigeria, right? I'll tell you a true story. One day I went home from the United States, and my sister was taking me to go and see her friend. And so we got to the place where it's a cookout, a little cookout. And, you know, I'm wearing just khakis and some stained T-shirts, right? And there's a guy there with bling and wearing his pants on his stomach. And the girls were all around him. The local girls, you know, they are around this dude. Come to find out, he came back from the UK to visit. He's a Ghanaian who lived in the UK.
Oh, nice.
So my sister was introducing me to the host and said, oh, this is my brother I used to tell you about, the one who lived in the United States. Oh. That is all she said. And the girls left the dude.
And came to you?
Everybody's now. And I'm in khaki pants with some sneakers. You know, America make you a casual dresser. The whole evening. The whole evening.
Really?
Many Africans watching, if they are not too proud, they'll tell you it's the case. Everybody's asking me about, have you met this person? Hey, man, is it true that in America, you know, all this kind of thing. Yeah. The country that colonized Ghana, Britain. The country that colonized the United States, okay? Ask any African whose country was colonized by British and give them 2 visas, Britain or America.
Where do you think they're going to go?
Where do you think they're going to go? In the Caribbean, who were colonized by the British. Give them 2 visas, America or Britain. They won't go to Britain.
So why do you think, like, what's the reasoning behind that? Because I don't.
Behind what?
Behind why do you think it's so powerful? Why do you think they gravitate towards it so much?
America?
Yeah, right there. Like, let's say, right.
The culture.
Yeah.
And Montel have asked me, when I say culture, what do you mean? It is the only country, okay, where Dennis Rodman can go to the White House. In other countries, including Britain, no. It is the only country where Lil Wayne will be received in Dubai with a private plane because he's an American first.
Yeah.
Yes, it is the only place that allow anyone who comes here room to just like be what you can be.
Yeah.
It's their home of Nike. Just do it. That's what America celebrates. That's why all the European, especially English rock bands, they didn't remain in their country because they know there's only one country that will shoot them to the moon.
Yeah.
The United States. Now let me tell you something. I'm not praising America as, you know, this great. No. I've lived in countries that are more sophisticated than the United States. 4 years in Japan has no comparison in technology, cleanliness, orderliness, people's behavior. You'll fall in love with it. Not this garbage here. But I'll tell you one thing. I couldn't have these opportunities I have based on the heart of Americans. They have a giving heart. They do. I think it's driven by some kind of religion. It is the only industrialized country that still is very religious, in some way strange. And the people, if you allow yourself to let people know you, Americans are very, very giving. They believe in it. They believe in second chance. You can find it anywhere.
Yeah.
It's the only place you go to jail, not as a political prisoner, as a criminal. And then come out and be hugging the president.
You got a point.
Not other places, no. So we have to, you the young ones, I'm a baby boomer, you have to rethink for your sake of your children. Otherwise, we are going to move this poison forward.
Right.
They didn't tell you what you represent as a black American, but maybe you can make your own term and say it. So if there is any challenge to Gen Z, it's one thing. You have to work hard. Your legacy that we will talk about is that you purge our vocabulary of all the toxic words you've been fed. Racism, supremacist, privilege, whites are this and that. You have to purge it. Anyone around you, do not encourage that into the next generation. No. Even fight evil with positive words. So your children, while they are trying to fight, they are still motivated by being black.
I think personally my dad did do a great job at putting me onto sources of information and making sure I knew, read, do this, read. He's definitely so big on reading, and I feel like that's such an underutilized tool, especially for Gen Z. With phones and stuff, it's so hard to get into books and have that focus to be able to absorb information and be able to spit it back out. So I definitely think I do have a responsibility to definitely educate the next gen for sure.
Wonderful talk. Yeah, so this is what I prepared to spring upon you, and I wasn't expecting anything different, but I have done it for 15 years, and the same reaction. And then the next day, or sometimes when it was a workshop, the same time, when I tell them what I said in the room, every kid is like, wow. So stay around for the answer I gave in 1991. Are you crying?
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear it. I'm not gonna lie. I can't wait to hear it.
Stay around for the answer I gave in 1991. This was at what we call the Youth Media Conference in France. And I was young reporting at that time, so I went. And this guy who was the MC and hosted it, he has this attitude of taking people to entertain them. He is an Arab French. Very wild. And so he does this. He said, when I gave my answer, he jumped over and said, I've never heard, not even a scholar came to my house to give this answer.
Wow.
And you're going to hear it, and I promise you. Again, another episode at ZPR, Zanu Project Rethink. Here, we question the answers we've been fed. We question the conclusions we've been fed. And it's not because we are looking for the next answer, but we are trying to create a pause. If we continue teaching our kids critical thinking, which is the ability to question your answers, we will reduce the violence. That is my goal. We have punished ourselves enough. Our parents have used words to create prisons around us. And it got to stop. In one of my comments, somebody left a comment. He said, my dad has been telling me this since I was born, and I'm 39 years old. And he was saying it with pride. My dad said, if there is a heaven, but with white people, son, it doesn't belong to you.
Wow.
Yet, he's living in a country with white people.
Yeah.
The physical place. Why didn't he move out to give birth to his son outside the United States, right? But he's telling him of something that doesn't exist. Wait until you die, and if there's a heaven with white people, it doesn't belong to you. So this kid has been living his life for 39 years, imprisoned. What did I say from the beginning? Because the dad has nothing to inspire him as a black man. So he has to tell him some bogus story. However, here we are in America. I have never seen in the last 40 years, I've been living in America for 32 years, I have never seen a white athlete who beat his black girlfriend in the elevator punching them in the face. I've never seen a white celebrity stomping his girlfriend in hotel hallways in America. I have never seen mulatto kids dragged in urban cities because white men went around leaving baby mamas behind. I've never seen in the last 40 years a white kid who went to any black neighborhood just to shoot black kids in the street. I've never seen a white man creating the crap mentality for black people in any neighborhood. Yet this man is telling his son to be afraid of the people who are no threat to him. If there is a hell filled with black people, it doesn't belong to me. So wherever you are, go back to your dad and discipline him. That is no good thing to tell a child. Now he's living in prison for the rest of his life. Guys, you're wonderful. And I have a whole hope in Gen Z. All right? So I'll see you again in the next episode. Thank you, everybody.